Welcome to part 2 of the 30-day challenge training. If you haven't seen the first video, then please check that out before this one. This is a continuation that will go into detail about the 30-day process. Our success in life may be dependent on many things, but the key to it all is the orientation of our minds. In other words, we've got to get our minds right. You have everything you need to succeed as standard equipment right between your ears. The challenge for most of us is to point our minds in the right direction and then equip or empower it to take us where we desire to go. If we use our minds correctly, it will transport us to a new life. The 30-day exercise is designed to reorient and equip your mind for the journey of a lifetime. So let's look at the journaling process in detail. Now, this isn't just writing things down like someone would in a diary. This is a directed process of mental discipline. Over these 30 days, you will be investing 1 hour per day to focus your thoughts on the future. Start by getting a good book, preferably one with secure pages that won't come out. You'll be spending your beginning days in this process getting a crystal clear picture of how you want your life to look in 5 years from now. Then you'll plan backwards from that 5 to the halfway mark, around 2.5 years. Then back to 1 year, and then down to 90 days. Once you have a picture of where you need to be in the next 90 days, you'll begin the planning stage. Now, this is where you are now. And instead of journaling backward, you begin planning forward. What appointments do you need to schedule? What connections do you need to make? What classes do you need to register for? What material do you need to read? At this point, you're actually putting things on the calendar. There are many programs online that you can use through your phone, your tablet, your desktop, or you can get a good old-fashioned paper calendar. Either way, whether it's pocket size or wall size, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you begin to put action steps into blocks of real time. If it's not on the calendar, it simply does not exist. Now, this crucial aspect of the planning stage is made much easier by all the work that you put in previously. If you did the 5-year, then you're ready, and now you can get that crystal clear picture. You can easily begin to see where you need to start today. Then you make those forward steps from 90 days to 1 year, and then to halfway, and then all the way. It's that simple. So let's talk about this initial 5-year destination, since it's the most important aspect of the 30-day challenge. How do you get a clear picture that will set the course for the next 5 years and for the rest of your life? Well, in order to do this, you'll have to do what most people find hard, if not impossible to do, although it is quite possible. You must dream. That's right, you must commit a deliberate act of dreaming about the future. Now, I can hear someone say, "Are you serious? No one achieves anything real by dreaming." If that's your perspective, I have to tell you, you're dead wrong. I would submit to you that no one achieves anything beyond their current circumstances without dreaming. If you're okay with where you are in life, then forget the whole thing. But if you really desire a new life, then you have got to put in the effort to dream. I say effort because for many of us, that's exactly what it will take. You see, dreaming will demand that you separate from your mental attachment to the past. To use a baseball analogy, you can't get to second base and ultimately to home plate with your foot still on first. There'll be time to consider past events and the lessons that they may teach us, but this is not the time. You want to get a mental picture of the life you want to live. And we spoke about this briefly in part 1. So what you want to do is just sit back, relax, and picture your life 5 years from now, as if you were watching someone else's life. See where you are on a Monday morning. Where do you live? Who are you with? What is your profession? Where do you work? What do you do outside of work that brings you joy and satisfaction? Who and what kind of friends do you have? What is most important to you at this time in your life? What type of person are you? How have you changed? What are your priorities? What causes are you in support of? How do you serve others? What and who do you live for? At the end of the day, if you live only for yourself, your dream will turn into a nightmare. Use these questions to guide you in your meditations. Get comfortable for your hour. Imagine the future and begin writing what you see. If you need to begin over, that's okay. You want to continue this process until you have something that you can look at and see with crystal clarity. This may take several days, maybe the entire first week will be dedicated to this part alone. But once you have it, everything else will flow naturally from it. Once you have that 5-year picture from today, then you'll see where you need to be in 2.5 years from now, or halfway to your goal. I hope by now you can see that goals are really dreams with deadlines. When you can see the destination, you can plan the real-time steps. So where would you need to be in a little over 2 years in order to reach your 5-year mark? Go through the same process as you did for the 5-year picture to get the 2-year picture. After that, you can begin working on the 1 year and then down to your 90-day calendar. Once you know where you need to be by the next year in your plan, you can actually begin putting the short-term goals in order for the next 90 days. In approximately 3 months, what will you need to have accomplished? Start managing your time investment by putting your activity on a calendar. If, for instance, you need to have something paid off in 3 months, or you need a certification in some area of your chosen profession, how will you budget your money, or when will you need to register for the class? When will you make the necessary phone calls, or visit the offices, or fill out the paperwork, or etc., etc.? Don't forget to plan your leisure time as well. When will you take a break? When will you have some downtime? Plan your play as well as your work. This way you won't work when you are scheduled to play or relax. You also won't be playing when you should be working on your plan. You can tell others when you are available and when you're not. Now, if this sounds too restricting to you, believe me when I tell you it really sets you free. Your journey to a new life is a calculated process with scheduled goals. You can't be haphazard and succeed in this life at anything worthwhile. Those who succeed are willing to do what those who fail are unwilling to do. If failing is not an option, then planning your work and working your plan is an absolute necessity. So let's get a wide range look, a wide angle picture of this process. You might take the first week or 30 days to develop your 5-year picture. If you complete it before that and you feel good, everything's fine, then move on to the next phase. Just make sure you have a crystal clear picture of your life in 5 years. You should have at least 2 paragraphs in your journal. You may have more, but you certainly shouldn't have less. It should be a detailed description of what type of person you are, what your responsibilities are, and how you are handling them, and what your life circumstances are. In other words, what does it all look like? After the first week, you'll be doing the same thing for the 2.5 years from now. How will your life have progressed? And what goals will you have reached when you're halfway to your 5-year lifestyle? If you know where you're going, you should know when you are halfway there. By your last week of the 30 days, you should be planning the next 3 months on the calendar. Now, you may already be moving on some of your plans within the 30 days. Just make sure everything is being put on the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, as I said before, it doesn't exist. Just move step by step with one goal after another being completed, which amounts basically to one success after another. Remember what we said before. Success is a process, not an event. Then you'll spend some time for a few days working on your assets and your obstacles or challenges, if you will. When you look in your booklet for the on-track curriculum, you'll see a place where you can actually go through make a list of the things that are in your favor externally and internally, the things that may be challenges to you moving forward externally and internally. Take some time to go through that. Get a good list. Do it on some scratch paper or something first if you need to, but then write that down in your journal and write it in your booklet. Make sure that you have some time to really think it through, because you want to know what you're working with. You want to know what you have to get. You want to know the things that will stand in your way that you have to address, and you want to know the things that you can rely upon. Internally as part of your own personality and character and skill set, and externally. Once you've done that, you can move forward to putting down your schedule for the next 30 days. See, you now have a calculated track in which to move. Just like a train, you're on track, and if you continue on down that track, the track is already leading you directly to your destination. Now that you can see the dream and are turning it into goals by making deadlines, you just need to have that reality check of what you have going for you and what you have against you, so you can figure out a plan to address all those issues. You can evaluate everything based upon what you're writing in the journal as your ultimate goal and all the steps that you need to take to get there, taking into account any problems that you may encounter along the way. So now you can move forward. You have one more training to go. So we'll see you then.